We are picking up right where we left off in the last video. We've just highlighted reason number 5 with our negative color. High heels aren't made for small feet. If you're Surrey Cruise, wearing high heels as a toddler is just a part of life. But when little pageant contestants wear heels, Stork says, it unnecessarily pushes their weight forward, causing lower back pain and hindering proper development of the feet. In some cases, these girls are forced to continue wearing heels outside of pageants because their feet have grown in a way that makes wearing other kind of shoes very uncomfortable. Article number 3, glitter and glamour inside child beauty pageants. So again, we're going to read through this article, and anything that we hear in support of child beauty pageants, we are highlighting with our positive color. For me, that's yellow. And anything that we hear that is maybe more on the negative side of children competing in beauty pageants, we're going to highlight with our negative color, which for me is green. When most people think of normal activities for a 6-year-old girl, they picture a sea full of Barbie dolls, coloring books, and dress-up clothes. However, television channel TLC has been the leading pioneer in the introduction of reality television children beauty pageants. Popular shows such as Toddlers and Tiaras, I think that's interesting. I'm actually going to underline that because I remember that specific show was mentioned in another one of our articles as well, which revolves around exaggerated filming of child pageantry shows, America one narrow view of what the pageant world is all about. For young girls, beauty pageants can be a positive life experience. I'm going to highlight that because that's a positive thing about child beauty pageants. So I'm going to highlight that with my positive color. The media distorts how society views pageants, but they can be beneficial because they give children contestants useful life lessons, and they can be viewed on the same positive level as other popular competitive sports. That was another positive, so I'm going to highlight that in yellow as well. The American pageant world has become an estimated $5 billion industry. In order to enter a contestant, many financial dues are needed from contestants, such as entrance fees, hair and makeup styling, wardrobe costs, and other pageant tools. By the expansion of the beauty pageant culture, it shows people that pageantry is becoming more common and traditionally accepted within American society. The Miss America pageants have become such a popular television event, beauty pageants have become its own genre of television. Because of Toddlers and Tiaras, there's that name again. Beauty pageants have been made to seem unnatural and as a form of child exploitation. On these shows, children are shown being rude to their parents, being extremely physical altered, and parents doing anything to make sure their child wins the ultimate title. So that's actually a negative of beauty pageants. So let's highlight that in green. The problem is the portrayal and producers' editing of the shows, which creates the drama and in turn produces ratings. The media distorts the way society sees beauty pageants because all they are trying to do is to achieve ratings, which in turn raises their financial profit. Because of reality television, most of America does not know the advantages of entering one's child into beauty pageants. Life lessons are taught, and children are exposed to different situations that they will see in the future. So there's a positive about beauty pageants. It's going to help children learn some life lessons. Being exposed to these lessons early in life will give children the upper hand during school and work field. Similar to other competitive sports or organizations, beauty pageants have formed their own network. In order to advance in the world, it's all about who knows who. Rhonda Shartner, a self-proclaimed pageant expert, says that winning various titles at different pageants allows children to gain more than just cash prizes, but also scholarships, letters of recommendation, and name recognition in the world. So there's a positive. It can help children earn money. It can get them scholarships for school. She explains that beauty pageants are just another form of children being able to get their name out to the world to be able to receive more opportunities in life. This is the same as if college students wanted to be a journalist. They would submit pieces to be printed in the local newspaper to expose their name so that major editors can read their work. Having connections results in people being able to gain opportunities they may not have been able to without knowing that person. These connections would be gained no matter what activity a child is involved in. Recently, there has been a spiking rise in the number of children who participate in competitive sports. It seems as though every parent wants their child to keep up with the Joneses on the athletic stage. However, when it comes to beauty pageants, parents do not understand that the values of sports and pageants go hand in hand. Educator and pageant parent Andrea Hermit shows her internet audience how competitive sports compare to beauty pageants. The players and beauty contestants must have the willpower to eat properly and stay in a healthy but also top physical shape to perform their best. So that would be a positive. It helps kids stay healthy. This teaches children, whether they compete on the field or on the pageant stage, that to be successful, one must have self-discipline. Self-discipline is shown in many aspects of one's life outside of sports and pageants. When entering college, students are left to fend for themselves, to study and to make the right decisions about their lives. No one is there to tell them what to do or what not to do. When young children need to practice self-discipline at a young age through pageantry, they are more easily able to continue that trend and be successful in college and their future. So I'm going to actually highlight the beginning of this sentence. That gives us another positive about beauty pageants, that it teaches children discipline. When children compete in group sports, they practice very hard, and sometimes all that practice still turns out in a loss. The same is true in the pageant world. Little beauty queens learn how to lose graciously and keep composed while they watch the other contestants win the crown. So there's another positive of beauty pageants. These are life lessons for any young child to learn. They cannot always get what they want, and even when practice and hard work, a young contestant may still not be crowned with top honors. This lesson will come up thousands of times within a person's life. Many people are set to believe that beauty pageants are a solo competition and do not teach children teamwork or sportsmanship. They think pageants teach the kid to be self-centered, when in fact, beauty pageants are excellent ways to teach children both of these life lessons. When preparing for a pageant, in order to be successful, a contestant must have a whole team to back her up, such as a coach, hair and makeup stylist, and cheerleaders in the audience to support her. Also, whilst competing in the pageant circuit, contestants make friends backstage and are able to socialize with other children their age. When a child loses against her fellow contestants, she must respectfully watch them be crowned while they are standing upon stage with nothing in hand. In life, people cannot always get what they want, and others are going to have things that they want. This is another one of life's many lessons learned from pageantry. So let's go back up to the beginning of this paragraph. We're going to highlight the first two sentences with our positive color. The final paragraph says, beauty pageants have become a part of America's culture. The pageant world previously had a negative connotation, but can also be said that beauty pageants are a positive way for little children to learn life lessons and give them the building blocks to become winners for the rest of their life. Okay, so now that we have gone through and we have highlighted some of the positives and some of the negatives about beauty pageants, we're going to switch over to the first page that was attached to your assignment for today, and it looks like this. This is the document that has to be completed before the end of class today, but let me explain exactly what I am looking for. You guys may recognize this checklist because way back at the beginning of the school year when we did our baseline on-demand assessment, you got this exact same outline, and every time we complete an on-demand moving forward, you're going to have this outline to look at. On the left-hand side, it's broken down by paragraph, and it reminds you exactly what I'm looking for in each paragraph. So, for example, in the introduction, I'm looking for three things. We are starting with a hook, then we are giving background information, and then we are writing a thesis statement. In body paragraph 1, we start with our transition and then our topic sentence, and then it reminds us that our topic sentence is based off of our thesis statement. We're looking for an E1 and an E2 with an internal transition, another E1 and E2, and then a concluding sentence, and so on. I'm not going to go through and read each of these, okay? By the time you leave today, I'm expecting you to have some bullet points in each of these boxes as a form of pre-writing, okay? So I'm going to actually do the introduction paragraph and then the beginning of body paragraph 1 with you to help you get started so that you get a better understanding of what this is going to look like. I want to say right now that I am not expecting you to write paragraphs in these boxes. I am looking for bullet points, okay? So, as an example, we know that our on-demand always starts with a hook, And we know that with our hooks, we have a couple different options. We could use a question hook, we could use a surprising fact, or we could use an anecdote like a short story. I have told you guys that when it comes to on-demand writing, me personally, I like to work smarter and not harder. And so I always find question hooks to be the easiest. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a hook, but if you don't like this one or if you have another idea for your hook that you would like to write instead, please feel free to change it. So when we're thinking about a question hook, we're simply going to start by asking our audience to think about this topic, child beauty pageants, and we're going to ask a question related to that. So I'm going to say, do you think children should compete in beauty pageants? That's going to be my hook. And I'm just using a bullet point here. I'm not making this into a complete paragraph. And again, I'm going to say one more time that if you don't want to use this as your hook, you don't have to. But if you're looking for an idea for a hook, there you go, right? Then for the background information, I'm going to give myself a new bullet point. I know that the first question I need to answer is what is the debate? And I know that this article, all of these passages we read were all about whether or not children should compete in beauty pageants. So I'm going to put just beauty pageants as a reminder to myself that that's what the debate is about. For what do those in favor argue? This is where I could go back through the passage and skim and scan some of the positive reasons that I highlighted. And I'm just going to choose like one or two key ideas to highlight here. It says pageants can be a wonderful experience for children. It helps girls get comfortable in front of strangers. It teaches kids to be good winners and good losers. This article was all the negative. Beauty pageants can be a positive life experience. They teach good life lessons. So I'm just going to put a couple of keywords here. For the positives, I'm going to say wonderful experience, teaches important life lessons. Okay, so tomorrow when I was writing this out as a complete paragraph, I would say something like, recently there has been a debate about children competing in beauty pageants. Those in favor argue that pageants are a wonderful experience for kids and that they teach children important life lessons. Okay, so today we're doing bullet points, but tomorrow we'll be typing this out as a complete paragraph. What do those opposed argue? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of skim and scan my negatives. Some of the negatives were that parents don't adequately prepare their kids for the pageants. They're time consuming, they're expensive, parents can be nasty. Girls are too young to say no. It can cause emotional problems. Okay, so there's lots of negatives that I can pull from. Let's use, let's say our negatives are going to be that they are problematic. Beauty pageants are problematic and harmful to young girls. All right. Now for the thesis statement, I want you to go ahead and choose a side. Do you think beauty pageants are good or do you think beauty pageants are bad? We're going to say children should or children should not. You're going to choose. Compete in beauty pageants because, and you need to go ahead and select the two reasons that you are going to be arguing in the rest of your essay. Okay, so this will be reason number one, this would be reason number two. When you get down to body paragraph number one for your topic sentence, we know that we're always going to be using a transition word. A great transition word to use for this one would be first. Children should or should not compete in pageants because, then give me your reason, okay? For your E1, you don't necessarily have to cite your E1, but what I would encourage you to do for this is you're coming up with your bullet points. Let's say that you're going to say beauty pageants are a good thing. You could put something like Article 1, paragraph, let's count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Paragraph 6 has some really good positives, right? So we could say passage 1, paragraph 6, and then you could maybe put the first few words of the quote that you're going to be using for that one, like pageants can be a wonderful experience. Okay, so what I want you guys to see here is that in your boxes, I'm not necessarily expecting paragraphs or complete sentences, but I do want to see you give me a good outline of what you're going to be using to actually write your paragraphs. I'm going to be looking for some bullet points. I'm going to be looking for specific references to the text. And remember, by the time you leave, you should have something in every single box.